We're going to be creating one of my favorite projects in Python, and that is the chatbot. But this is a bit more complex than a regular if-else check, because it's going to be able to recognize some words. Even if they are spelled incorrectly, it will still be able to recognize them and give you an appropriate response. But let me demonstrate that by displaying the program or running the program. And here it will say you, and you can enter whatever text you want. You can say hello, and it will say hey there. You can also say hello with an O detached, and it will still be able to understand that. Otherwise, you can ask something such as how are you? And it will understand as well. It will respond, I'm doing good, thanks. And we can ask it, what can you do? And it's a bot that can answer questions. Okay, great. Finally, we can ask maybe what time is it? And the bot doesn't know because we did not include that functionality. Otherwise, if we type in something completely random, we also have a check for that. That's going to make the bot respond something basic, such as, could you please repeat that? So it's a really cool project, and we should get started immediately by creating a new empty project. And the first thing we have to do inside here is import from difflib the getCloseMatches function. And that's going to be used to compare a list and a string, and it's going to find the best match in that list so we can get an appropriate response. But the first function is going to do just that, so get best match, and it's going to take a user question of type string, and it's going to take some questions of type dictionary. And that's going to return to us a string or none, because there's a chance there will be no answer that matches what we are looking for, so we want to return none in that case. Then the questions are going to be of type list of string, and that's going to equal a list comprehension because we want to take the questions out of the dictionary. So it's going to be Q for Q in questions. Then we can provide or create a variable called matches of type list, which is going to equal getCloseMatches. And we need to provide a word or a string, which is going to be our question. And we want to compare that to the list of questions to find which question we actually entered. And we're going to specify that we only want to return the first best one, because it can return multiple, but we just care about getting the first one. And there's also a cutoff parameter that we need to include. And I'm going to set this to 60% or 0.6, which means it should be at least 60% of a match to the user question to be a valid response. And you can put this higher or lower, but the thing is, the higher the cutoff, the harder it is going to be to recognize certain words, because right now if you type in hello and the user types in hell, this is only an 80% match, which is very acceptable of course, and it will still recognize that as hello. So play around with that if you want your bot to be more strict on what the user types. Otherwise, if there is a match, because again, there might be no matches, we're just going to return the match or the first match, the match at the index of 0. Otherwise, it's going to return none. Then we can define our chatbot. And the only thing our chatbot needs is some knowledge of type dictionary. Then we want to get some user input of type string, which will equal the input of you. So that's the prompt we will have to simulate a chat. And we want to get the best match of type string or none. So it's an optional. And that will equal get best match for the user input, and that's going to search inside the knowledge base. Now, if there is an answer, and I say if because we're using the walrus operator, to call knowledge.get, and we want to get the best match because this is going to return to us a question formatted correctly so that we can use it as a key for knowledge.get in that dictionary. But if there is an answer, we can print that the bot uses that answer. So bot answer. Else, if there is no answer, that means that the bot has no idea what we are talking about. So we'll say bot, I do not understand. So that's all the functionality we need to create this bot. Now we just need to create some dummy data so that the chatbot actually has a brain, and then we can use it. So as always, we'll type in if name is equal to main, and we will create a brain of type dictionary for our bot. And this is actually the knowledge base, so you can call it knowledge base if you want. I thought brain was just a fun word for this project. But the first question we're going to create is hello. And it's not really a question, but it's what we want the user to type in to prompt this response. So hey there is what the bot will respond. And we can also type in how are you? And the bot should respond, I am good, thanks. And we'll put those in quotation marks. And this is exactly how you can create questions and answers for your bot. And whatever we type in has to be at least 60% similar to this phrase to trigger I am good, thanks. Then we can say, what time is it? And the bot will say, don't know, don't care. Because this bot has quite an attitude. And then we can also say something such as bye, and the bot will say, see you. So those are the questions we will use. Of course, you can add as many as you want, and you can get really creative with this. You can even add some functions here that can trigger certain functionality. So there's a lot you can do here, but this is just the basis. Then below that, all we need to do is call our chatbot and insert a brain for the knowledge argument. And with that being done, we can run this bot. And I'm just going to scroll down here so I can remember what I programmed it to respond to. So here we can say hello with an exclamation mark, and it responded and the process finished. So there is one thing I forgot, and that is to put all of this in a while true loop to simulate an ongoing conversation. So let's try that again. Now we have hello, exclamation mark. I'll say hey there. We can say how are you with a question mark. We can also say, how are you? And it will still be able to respond to that. And that's the best part about this chatbot. It can easily recognize phrases even if they are spelled incorrectly. Then we can say, what time is it? The bot doesn't know, doesn't care, neither do I. And we will just say goodbye to finish this project. And the bot will say, see you. So for homework, I definitely recommend you start playing around with this. Even swapping this with a JSON file to keep this much more clean, because having too much data in your script can get quite messy. So if you could load a JSON file instead of just directly building it here, I think that would be much cleaner. And also adding some sort of function here that says maybe if you ask what time it is, it might be able to give you the correct time.